entertain you on a giant screen with a few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening. What's going on, everybody? You are tuned in to the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. It is Monday, November 24th, Thanksgiving week 2025. I'm your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I am Slick Doggy the Grip.
And we're back. It's another show. It's another time. We're here. You're here. We're all here. Everybody's here. In the comments.
I can change and he can change.
Yeah.
Maybe
we can all change. Yeah, we're here. We're going to be talking about movies like we always do. A lot of movies to review tonight, so buckle up. I went and saw Running Man not long after last week's show, and also checked out Wicked 2. But Jake, you also caught it. You got healed up. You're back in the studio.
Yeah, I'm not sick anymore. I went and I saw Sisu 2, The Search for More Gore.
Okay, and did you find it?
The director sure did.
All right, well, we're going to be talking about all three of those movies in tonight's episode, so stick around for that. But as we always do, we got some news. We got some new releases to talk about. We got all those things. But I thought we would start with some somber news. We always let you guys know when a thespian of note passes or somebody related to the entertainment industry. But Udo Kier, he died yesterday, and pretty sad stuff. And I know a lot of people are like, who the hell is Udo Kier? If you saw a picture of this guy, you would be like, oh, yeah, it's that guy. He's been in so many things. Andy Warhol's Dracula is a good one. Blood for Dracula is great. He's been in a lot of strange, wasn't he in Human Centipede as well, I think?
Was he the doctor?
I think he might have been.
He looks like the dude if he wasn't him.
He's that guy. He was been in so many things that it's just hard to and he's never like the lead in anything. He's always like the evil, weird guy that comes in for a minute. But yeah, I mean, what a career! Like to have always been kind of in the background and been in so many freaking movies, but never being like this huge.
B movies.
A lot of B movies, but cool guy. I mean, I've always liked seeing Udo Kier in movies. So a lot of horror movies,
lots of video game stuff too.
Oh yeah,
he was in like video games and video game movies. Because I think he was in the Far Cry movie and Blood Rain movie, but he did voices in like Call of Duty and something else.
Well, pouring one out. Let me get a bottle of whiskey here for old Udo, and cheers to you, Udo. Your big bulgy eyeballs won't grace the silver screen anymore. Mm-hmm.
Vince asked if I remembered to see the Rocky Fathom event. I sure did not.
No.
I wonder if that happened while I was taken ill, or if it was yesterday and I just whiffed it. It was Rocky 4, wasn't it? Dang, that would have.
What were you thinking, man? You weren't thinking.
I wasn't. Yeah.
Well, shucks. All right. Well, with that out of the way, some news. Let's jump into a little bit of news. Did you have any fun little news tidbits?
Well. Brendan Fraser is coming back for Mummy 4. We got the Mummy 4 announcement where Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are both coming back. So getting the band back together.
This would have really, really excited me 10 years ago. And I love Brendan Fraser. I love that he's coming into his Brendanisance and getting, the respect that he has always deserved. But he is no longer that guy. And maybe they can make it tasteful. Because what's his name? The guy that was the sand guy.
The dude that was in charge of
just the super
protecting the...
Yeah, that super sexy like Egyptian guy that just like rode up in the horse. He's like, "It is me, guardian of the desert," and you're just like, "Yes, I'll listen to you anywhere." And he's like, "Do not follow Imhotep. He's bad."
Yeah, that's your man crush. Bro.
Did you see the guy?
I've seen the movie.
I am confident enough in my homo like adjacent. You know, I can be like, that dude's handsome and still be straight. Like, you do
you, man.
You can be like, that dude's hot. It's fine. I ain't trying to have sex with that dude, but
he was a cool dude.
He's a hot dude.
He was a cool dude.
And he's a cool hot dude.
Anyhow,
was Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser's a cool hot dude.
I don't know. You know, Mummy 4 might be good. Maybe you don't know.
Mummy 3 wasn't good.
Yeah, but Mummy 3 was like, they're like, what if it was a Jet Li mummy instead? And you're like, well, that's not how mummies typically work.
And didn't it also have like a Yeti at the end? Like there was an abominable snowman.
They had like a big
around.
Battle at like the Great Wall of China or something.
Vince coming in with the hot take, in a world of mummies, he's a daddy.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this because I had the biggest crush on Rachel Weisz at the time, you know, when that movie came out, because she was like the cool like action librarian, which is like everything that a young me wanted in a woman. I'm just like, yeah, smart, brain, sassy, and like handy with a gun and can fight monsters. Like, get out of here. This be still my beating heart.
Can read hieroglyphics.
Yeah. But
I don't know. It might be cool.
Swing.
Yeah, it might be cool. You don't know. I mean, with the way that they've aged, that means that this movie is going to take place in like the 50s.
It would have to, yeah. And,
something like that.
And their little shithead blonde kid who was in the second one.
Oh, maybe he just won't even be there.
Maybe he got eaten by a scarab or something, or a...
What if they just go full...
What if he's a mummy?
What if they keep the really bad Scorpion King CGI for something?
God.
That would be...
Is The Rock coming back?
Nah, you don't... Scorpion King is such a perfect movie, you don't need to revisit.
No, Scorpion King was not a good movie.
Scorpion King's a badass movie.
No.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Dude, his dad is Boba Fett. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's not the part of the movie. Like, that's just the casting choice.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to cast The Rock. Let's make Polynesian people in the desert. And they're like, yeah, brilliant. Go for it.
They're brown. Whites don't know the difference.
Yeah. Egyptians, Polynesians, same thing. So, yeah.
It's like the nugget sauce. Polynesian sauce. They don't even know. It's just...
It's good.
It's very good.
It's good. That's the one thing you should get at Chick-fil-A for sure. But, yeah, man, I don't know. It might be all right.
But I mean, you get up into the point in Scorpion King where it's half scorpion, half rock.
No, that doesn't happen in the Scorpion King movie. That's in Mummy.
That's
2.
in Mummy 2.
Yeah.
And like, I can't. Man.
All clay looking CGI.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So anyhow, I don't know.
So bad.
Might be cool. Speaking of things that we do not probably need at all, the Rambo prequel is a thing and then canceled, and then is a thing and then is canceled, is a thing again. It's going to be a thing. They've uncanceled once again, and it is set to begin filming in January.
That's tomorrow, basically. Like, holy crap, that's fast.
And it's being brought to us by the guy who directed Sisu. I mean, if it's going to be like Sisu, it's going to be some weird, gory Vietnam horror fest. So I don't know. I don't really care to see a Rambo prequel because I do like all of the Rambo movies. I like all of them, even Last Blood.
I thought Last Blood was okay.
It's not bad, except for the part where Rambo just gets wrecked for no reason in Mexico, and then he's like, "Well, I guess I better beat these guys up." But other than like they're like, how do we make this plot happen? Part of the movie, the rest of it is not bad. So I like all of the Rambo movies. I don't think it needs a prequel or any other one. But that's set to start filming, so it's a real thing again.
I had some sad news, and you know, normally we get all this news about like sequels that we don't want and things that we don't want but are getting anyway. and there was an adaptation of something that I think we did want and we should have gotten, and they canceled it. And Paramount had been teasing over the past year of doing a live-action adaptation of, rated R, mind you, of The Last Ronin.
A live action?
Yeah, well, in the sense of, probably CGI'd or something,
No, put him in a suit.
That's what I'm saying. Just go back to the first one that we all still love. Arguably, everyone still goes, yeah, that's the best Turtles movie. Make it dark, make it gritty, make it rated R. Whoa, are you about to pause and say that the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not the best one?
T2 is pretty, or TMNT 2.
Secret of the Ooze?
Secret of the Ooze is pretty good.
It's not as good as the first one.
Dude, they have a sick underground subway layer.
So the layer is the dopest of the layers.
It has Toka and Raja.
That's cool.
And the Num Nums. Ooh, Num Nums. And it has Ernie Reyes Jr. as the pizza boy. Oh,
costumes aren't as good.
The turtle costumes are a little better.
I don't think they are. I think they were the best in the first one.
Looks wise, I think you're right. Aesthetically, the original movie, they look the best. But in the second movie,
darker and grittier.
They work better. So
and it's like
has
at the time I would have been
effect.
like, and it's got ninja rap, but now I'm like, and it had ninja rap.
No, dude, go ninja, go. That's sick. It has Super Shredder. Even though Super Shredder defeats himself, still Kevin Nash as Super Shredder is pretty cool.
And on Twitch, Star Punch Telemaster just made a very good comment. Part 2 didn't have Corey Feldman.
Okay,
and
so
as a Donatello guy,
yeah,
Corey Feldman as Donatello was goated. And
Donatello's only the third best turtle.
Whoa.
Everyone knows Mikey's the best.
No.
100%.
It's Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo.
Raph
Leonardo.
is the worst one.
No, he's not.
Dude, who gets him into trouble? Who always gets his butt kicked?
That's why he's the best one.
That's why he's the worst one.
Because he's just this,
Who's the last Ronin? Not Raph. Raph got killed.
First. Didn't Raph get killed first?
Probably, because he's a hothead.
But Donatello's the best one.
No. Mikey. Mikey's the last Ronin. Mikey's the one that survives.
Yeah, because he was all fucking around.
No, dude, because he's the best one.
I don't know about that.
Everyone knows Michelangelo is the best one. Anyhow, the point is, Secret of the Ooze is pretty good.
Yeah.
Secret of the Ooze is pretty good.
But we're not getting Last Ronin. And that's sad. That makes me sad. Because that's a sad... That is the rated R Ninja Turtles that we've all need. Because everybody that gives a shit about Ninja Turtles anymore is like pushing 40. Right? And... make it rated R. Make it rated R for it. Give us the thing that we want.
I mean, originally Turtles was not exactly family friendly, so yeah.
Right. Just do it. Just stop trying to make everything for kids.
Eastman and Laird did not write Ninja Turtles for children.
We've said this so many times that if you just make stuff that's cool and don't try to make it for kids, kids end up loving it too. And then it's for everybody.
I was watching a thing recently about how in the 80s, they're like, oh, yeah, that thing definitely not for children. Let's market it to kids real quick. It's
and zing.
RoboCop, loved it. Kids loved it. Terminator, kids loved it.
Everybody loved it.
Ghostbusters, kids loved it. Ninja Turtles, just direct to kids. All that stuff. Swamp Thing, straight to kids.
The best.
Yeah, Rambo, there was a freaking cartoon.
Toxic Avenger, cartoon.
Oh, dude, yeah, Toxic Avenger, definitely not for kids, marketed to kids. It's amazing. Yeah, they did great. Those are all the things that I like. So.
Yeah, and it's the best. And everybody's like, man, why was everything so good back then and it sucks now? It's because now everybody's like, we got to make it for the kids.
Dude,
They're going to love it if we love it.
Alien, Predator, and Terminator action figures next to each other. And Hook. I had Captain Hook. And they would all like fight all the time.
Yeah,
dude.
And it's the best. And
then Jurassic Park came out, and then the T-Rex was eating everybody.
And now these movie studios just can't figure it out. They can't figure it out. Kids like what grown-ups like, and if you make something that the grown-ups like, the kids are gonna like it too. Yeah. And that's the formula, guys. You don't have to try and make it for kids all the time.
Well, hey, man. Speaking of things that grown-ups like that kids just absolutely love, Spinal Tap 2 is going to be available to watch at home on the 12th of December. So if you did not catch it in the theater, then you can watch it at home. Spinal Tap 2 is a lot of fun. I reviewed it on the show. I watched it in the movie theater. I got big tickled at a bunch of it. So yeah, that's coming out here in just a couple weeks to watch at home on HBO.
Okay. Well, I think we should unless you have any big ones that you want to jump into.
No, the only really other big things
move
is
on.
that if you want to go watch the first Sisu before you go watch Sisu 2, it's free on Tubi right now.
Okay, free on Tubi.
And Disney released their trailer for Hoppers, which is like a girl jumps into the body of a beaver and then she can communicate with animals and she leads a revolt against humans and the animals decide to kill humans and then she has to try and convince them not to kill all of the humans. But it's very much...
Why doesn't she just let them?
It's done like a very like adult sci-fi horror movie. What's that movie where they all like get real close to dying and then they like don't die or whatever? It
Sounds like a lot of movies.
Yeah, no, she goes into a machine and her brain gets swapped and
By a beaver.
yeah, into a robot beaver.
A robo beaver.
Yeah. So anyhow,
That sounds like a AVN award-winning.
oh my gosh,
Sci-fi pictures of
that trailer's out there if you want to watch
robo
some
beaver.
Disney Pixar style whatever nonsense stuff. But yeah, that's it. There's not much else in the news.
Well, with that said, let's tell you what's coming out in theaters this week because it's Thanksgiving week. And there is, obviously they're all wanting to give Wicked 2 a pretty nice, like, healthy bit of breathing room here. Because, you don't compete with that. So there are a couple of movies coming out. One that I think is going to be the competition because it's aimed at kids, and it's the big one. It's Zootopia 2. It's been a long time since they've done a Zootopia movie. I'm surprised they didn't make one sooner. But this movie basically helped define my hatred for movies about CGI animals doing people things, because that's really the premise of the movie. Like, the movie is just, if they were all just people doing the people jobs, it would be the most boring movie ever, right? But make them a fox or make them a snake or make them the elephant. And
well, the whole point of the first movie is that predators were eating prey animals.
Just like in the real world.
Like in the real world, but that's not how Zootopia works.
Right.
You couldn't do that with people because you couldn't have like...
Because it's just life.
People eating other people.
Well, we already do. It's
that would very, very clearly.
But
be a
we
big problem.
consume them and put them down, and it's about caste warfare. I mean, that's what it is. And it's like the elephant runs a peanut shop, and the penguin runs a popsicle stand, and it's like ha ha ha, and it's fucking stupid, and I hate crap like this. But it's coming out in theaters. And of course the fox is the one that comes up with the plan. Anyway, it's coming out. I mean, I like Jason Bateman, and Ke Huy Quan is great, and Andy Samberg's great, and Idris Elba's great, and there's Danny Trejo's in it, and Patrick Warburton's freaking in it. And the coolest thing about Patrick Warburton is his IMDb picture is him as the Tick, like, and he could have,
Great Blue Wonder.
he could pick any other profile. He's had a career since the late 90s, and he's like, you know what? I'm the Tick on IMDb forever. That's how cool Patrick Warburton is. Anyway.
It was also cool in Ted 2 when him and Michael Dorn are walking around the Comic-Con and just bullying everybody dressed as the Tick and Worf.
Yeah.
And they're just picking on nerds, and it's awesome.
It's like, what a cool dude. But anyway, it's got a great...
It also has Roman Reigns and CM Punk in there.
Yeah.
I mean, CM Punk can eat a dick, but like Roman Reigns is pretty cool.
It's a great cast. It's going to make a lot of money because it's Zootopia 2, and it's coming out in theaters this week. There is a lower budget, kind of indie film coming out with a bunch of up-and-comers, if you want to smash that emote over on Twitch. It's called Silver Star. It's written and directed by Ruben Amar and Lola Bessis. It's about this woman who was recently released from prison, kidnaps this pregnant teenager during a bank robbery, and they are on a run together. So Vince asks about Zootopia 2, is it a great cast or a popular cast? I'd say great.
There's some real voice acting talent. Jason Bateman's really
He's good. And Idris Elba is also good.
Well, but his character in the first movie, though, I mean, the character they gave him
It's very much like him.
well, is just like a be tough, don't have a lot of depth to it.
But
thing,
like,
so
take like Knuckles in Sonic, for example.
oh yeah, I guess
You know, he's good at that. And it doesn't feel like Idris Elba, even though you know it is.
I mean, I guess he has voice work talent. They just don't give him characters where he can use all of his talent.
Exactly. So Silver Star's coming out in limited release, but the other semi-limited release, it is a A24 kind of romantic comedy, which I don't know. This movie looks like I want to barf because I hate romantic comedies, but it's called Eternity. And it is directed by David Friend. It's this afterlife comedy where Elizabeth Olsen dies, and she is presented with you have 1 week in limbo or whatever to figure out where you want to spend eternity, and she's faced with this choice between her first love, who's this absolute square-jawed soldier-looking dickhead.
He was a soldier. He died.
And he died.
They were married. Yeah.
And then, but that was her first love, like her love of her, whatever, and he died early. Or Miles Teller, who was like the guy she ended up spending her life with, right? And then she's in the afterlife going like, oh God, Mr. Hotcakes who died versus Mr., good guy who's always been there. And I hate movies like this. I just absolutely hate movies like this. Because chances are she'll pick the nice guy, but that's just not how it works in real life. So let's just be real. But
maybe they'll get kicked out of heaven for being indecisive in buttholes, and then it'll turn into a movie about how they just get scorched.
Send them to hell. But Eternity is coming out in theaters this weekend. You can check it out. It's been a minute since I've seen an A24 like lighthearted comedy, even though it is about death. But that seems on brand. So those are your 3 movies coming out in theaters this week. Now let's get to the reviewing. Let's start with Running Man because it's the oldest one out there. I'm going to spend probably the least amount of time on it, but I think it's very important to talk about because it's a movie that we've been looking at and talking about for a long time on this show. Directed by Edgar Wright, based off of a Stephen King co-written story. There was a film adaptation with Arnold Schwarzenegger that we both love, but that film adaptation did take a lot of liberties with the story to make it as rad as it was. And, I think it was before a time when anybody really knew about the book. This movie, let's just say if the original movie had never come out, I would have watched this movie and been like, that's pretty good. Not like I'm excited about it. Not like, holy crap, my mind was blown. I've been like, not a bad little action flick. I wished it would have dove a little bit deeper into the sort of dystopian future side of it. But the problem with this movie is I just really think Glenn Powell sucks. He is just generic, squinty-eyed, square-jawed G.I. Joe. Like, he just doesn't have presence on screen. He's shredded. He's physically, like, intimidating looking, but he's got, like, this... He just doesn't sell it for me on screen. And this movie didn't have much of a cast.
He's no Desert Guardian, is what you're saying.
He's no Desert Guardian. He's just there, right? And he's playing... let's see. Vince on Twitch asks, how many times did you try to watch the movie but couldn't because the theater was at max capacity? 0. This movie, it hit all the notes that I wanted a Running Man to hit. The dystopian future. The one thing that it did do that the original adaptation of the movie did, the movie adaptation didn't do, was it opened it up to the world, right? The book wasn't in an arena. It was, you're out there because it's like how many people will try to kill you, for money. And really it was about trying to get people to rise up against the network systems, like, because that's how Stephen King does his things. But I think putting it in an arena made it more fun and made it more action friendly and made those characters that we all liked from the original a lot more engaging to watch because it was more of a hunting.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get the public to turn against something and illustrate that, I think having the entire thing controlled by the powers that be rather than people participating is the way to do that. Because if people are participating, they're never going to. They're like, no, I mean, this is kind of sick for us. We get the money
But that's
whatever.
what it is. If you get the kill, they get all this money.
Right.
And so the economy
They're never going to turn against that.
They're all screwed and they're trying to do this thing, but the story is like don't trust the media, and the media was selling it just like in the Arnold Schwarzenegger one where they're like re-editing footage to do things that didn't exist.
Ben Richards was the bad guy. But
yeah, which is more, I think, hits a little harder now than it did back in the 80s because AI and deep fakes and all that stuff is very real right now, like extremely real and a part of our world. So, you know, there were elements of this that I really wanted to enjoy. I thought that what's his face, the Matt Josh Brolin, I thought he was really good as an evil, you know, CEO, but Glenn Powell just dropped everything. And you know, there was some great action moments. There was a pretty good scene with William H. Macy, who I don't really even like that much, but then
you don't like the Shubler?
I don't know. Something about William H. Macy, I don't know. I've just never really been a big William H. Macy fan. But he was good. It was a good part, and I wish I wanted to see more of him.
You need to watch Mystery Men, my boy.
And then Michael Cera, people were like going, oh, yeah, they should have recast him. I thought his part was one of the better parts. And all of the stuff that they tried to make you care about Glenn Powell, you just stopped. And then in the end, the ending just didn't stick the landing because they spent this whole time trying to make you feel like this guy, Ben Richards, was such a stand-up dude, such a man of honor, such a helper, such a person, you know, that believes in people, and then he just straight up executes the network guy at the end. That's not something that I think that guy would have done. And I don't know. It was, if you've never seen the original Running Man and you want to watch kind of a weird dystopian sci-fi movie, it ain't bad.
Or any of the movies that have co-opted that, because I think I've named them all off a bunch, like talking about it, because that lottery movie with John Cena and Aquafina, exact same thing.
Yeah.
That movie with old dude from New Girl, and he has to be friends with the hobo guy to try and stay alive. Exact same thing. You know, there's so many movies that have taken like Guns Akimbo or whatever.
Yep.
Like same.
Or the video game Smash TV.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that have been that same thing now. And for this to come back and do its thing, it's not.
It's a little late.
Original, yeah.
It's a little late. Even though that historically speaking, this one was a little ahead of its time. But I wish there would have been a little more sci-fi and not have Glenn Powell in it. I mean, that's the thing. And honestly, Edgar Wright, I really like Edgar Wright. Anybody could have directed this movie. It didn't feel very Edgar Wright-y to me. There was a couple of montage scenes that were very Edgar Wright, but for the most part, I felt like Edgar Wright's talents were wasted in this movie. So, again, not saying don't see it, but you know, it's a ride. It's a fun action movie. I don't regret seeing it, but it's not one I'd be like, get in there.
I know Star Punch asked if it was bland. That's really what I've been seeing and reading about the movie is just how much character it lacks as a movie.
Well, and maybe on the opposite side of bland, or you tell me, Sisu 2, Road to Revenge. Let's hear about it.
Sisu 2, Sisu on wheels, and how appropriate for it to be coming out around Thanksgiving because it is planes, trains, automobiles with attitude. And you know, it's Sisu 2, the search for more gore. Yeah, I mean, so somehow they decided that they could make a sequel to Sisu, even though the end of the original,
not very sequel friendly.
Yeah, it kind of ends where you're like, okay, you know, he got his day in the sun, his vengeance trail, the people that have wronged him, it's done. Well, they decided that before that movie, it turns out he had lived in a part of the world that is now controlled by, the Communist Party of Russia and is part of the Soviet Union. And so he goes to retrieve his home log by log to take it back to Finland. The Russians discover that he's in their territory. And they send the man that hacked his family to death with a iron shovel to kill him. And then the entire movie is Sisu on the run and killing everyone that's coming after him, except for when it's most crucial to do that. and then letting the plot progress so that he can kill some other people on his way to eventually
Get the big bad.
Yeah, kill that guy or a few other people. This movie is a lot like the first one, but turned up.
Which the first one was already pretty turned up.
But kind of in all the wrong ways. It's like they looked at the first movie and they're like, wow, people really like this. It was a success. Let's just crank that to 11, but not the story element part of it. Not the like...
make you give a crap part?
Exactly. Yeah. None of that's there. Sisu doesn't utter a noise except for like he like kind of screams once or twice. And other than that, he goes through such intense body punishment throughout the entire movie. At one point, he's lashed with an electric whip, has 2-inch deep lacerations across his entire back, and then he rolls onto a broken bottle on purpose and just lets it sink into his abdomen, and then he steps on top of broken glass also on purpose, but then he just breaks the glass in his back and puts a set of someone else's boots on, and all is well.
Okay. Sometimes all you need is a good pair of boots.
It is absolutely gory. It is nothing but a blood fest. The main problem here being that it wasn't so much of Sisu. Yeah, sounds like a Mel Gibson joint. It wasn't Sisu like we saw in the first movie. It was more of a itchy and scratchy cartoon.
They fight, and fight.
It was
fight.
Itchy and scratchy, plus spy versus spy, plus a bucket of blood. And it, it opens up with the dog being CGI in a scene that it did not need to be. Very obvious CGI.
Gotta love bad CGI animals.
And then he just continues to make some of the poorest decisions throughout the entire movie that just leads to him receiving so much bodily punishment. And then, of course, he just hacks through every person in his way to turn them into a pile of blood and guts.
As you do.
That's the entire movie. It's an hour and 28 minutes. It goes by very quick, but it is like sitting through an itchy and scratchy cartoon, because it's just extreme violence to be extreme violence without a real purpose. And some of it is cartoonish in how...
I mean, just watching the trailer, you see some of this, like, cartoon violence.
Yeah, it's just obscene, like, and...
Like a slasher film without a slasher.
Kind of. I liked the first movie, and the things that Sisu goes through in that movie, like, oh, man, geez, that sucks. Like, how did he end up here? Like, how's he going to get out of this situation? But this movie, he does it all to himself, basically. Like he kind of lets himself get captured at one point, not knowing what's going to happen to him, which results in the worst amount of like torture and gore porn and all this stuff. So there's elements of it that are fine, but overall it is not anywhere as good as the first movie, because it's just too intense with the ridiculousness of trying to be shock factor gore fest rather than focusing on this character until the very end, where he is rebuilding the house because, sorry, spoiler, Sisu lives. It's his name in the friggin' title.
What?
Yeah, but he's like, after his face is caved in with an iron bar, you see his face caved in and broken. The very next scene, he's fine. You know, it's too ridiculous to be an enjoyable movie in the setting that it is. So if you really like the first movie for the reason of the movie, of the story, that's not there. If you like it because it's just violence and that's what you want to see, well, they cut all the other stuff out. They cut all that pussy life and story stuff out of there. What do you mean emotions? And what do you mean feelings? And what do you mean plot? This is gore porn. And so if that's what you want, it's there. It's not bad, but it's not enjoyable as like entertainment that has a story to it.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about Wicked. Sisu 2, would you see it in theaters? Would you see it in...
Yeah, I watched it Saturday.
I mean, no,
or
would
yesterday.
you? Would you recommend?
Oh, no. There's some scenes that you would expect to be like real, like theatrical worthy, like when the planes are chasing him and he's in this like big truck hauling the remnants of his home, and he's trying to escape them through this forest, and they're doing these like dive bomb runs, and he's being attacked and stuff like that. But really, it's so small that you don't get a theatrical experience from it in the theater. This is definitely an at-home movie.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything in it big screen worthy to make it feel like you're gonna miss out on the big screen, especially the CGI dogs.
Speaking of CGI dogs.
Yeah. And some other ridiculous things that occur there. But
Interesting. Right when he said that, I know you can't hear it in the studio, but it sounded like there was scratching at like the floor or ceiling, like CGI dogs here in the studio. Pretty sure there's critters in the roof. The warehouse that we're in would contain critters. Let's just put it that way.
I thought it was coming from the door. No, it's definitely
Coming from inside the house. All right. Well, let's talk about Wicked because we only have 20 minutes left in the show.
yeah. You got to condense 4 hours of musical numbers into.
Well, this particular movie, so Wicked for Good, was 2 hours and 17 minutes, and so Wicked, the first movie, as everybody, the international phenomena. I think what made that movie really translate to screen is the director, John Chu, did something really interesting with the first movie. Was he took parts of the book, which is the part of a 4-book set called the Wicked Years. And it was a really big, crazy phenomena, starting with Wicked from 1995, and it has gone all the way up. There's more stories being written in it now, of course, because money's a thing. But John Chu was like, let's take some parts out of the book that weren't in the musical, because the musical was adapted from that first book. And then the musical was a huge Broadway sensation. And so the first movie was like, let's take a little bit of this, let's take a little bit, like all the songs, let's make a big, loud, vibrant movie, and let's get people hooked. And they kind of did. Like, it was a recipe for success. Wicked for Good was like, well, we're almost out of all the good songs because they were technically in the first part of the musical, but we really need to stretch this into 2 movies. But let's leave out a lot of the stuff from the book because it's not super happy, fun, sunshine stuff. So like there's a whole, uprising with Fiero and the animals that are like, they have this underground railroad trying to get like animals out of Oz. And, there's just some hate crimes going on, and it's just not a good thing. But they're like, well, we want to appeal to all these people that love Ariana Grande and, singing along, and it just Elphaba and Glinda. We want to just like highlight the Broadway side of it. Let's get that money one more time and try and stick the landing. And this movie, while, you know, it wraps up the Wicked story, I think really suffered from not setting up what could have been another one of these movies by diving a little deeper into the book lore. Because honestly, I think while the musical element is what made the first Wicked such a global success, it's also its defeat in any sort of sequels, because you don't got them songs, you don't got that Broadway, you don't got all that fandom, and you're not just going to be able to quickly rewrite a whole bunch of, you know, super classics to make another sequel, because these books are really, really cool. Actually, if you've been living under a rock the past couple of years and don't know what Wicked's about, it's just like the story of Oz from a different perspective, and that Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, is really not that bad. Although she does some stuff in this one, I'm like, nah, you suck, and you know,
Really not that bad. Tries to murder a child.
Really not that bad. Like,
has monkeys that she sicks onto the munchkins.
yeah, she kind of liberates the munchkins, but really not that bad. And like, totally,
She
like,
liberates the munchkins. Why do all of them hate her and
Well,
are
they do.
scared to death of her?
because propaganda, dude.
propaganda.
and-
It was their town, and they're like, yeah, she comes to our town and she kicks our ass all the time. It's not nice.
But yeah, there was a couple of scenes in here that I just felt were really uncomfortable, and for pacing wise, that I get, you know, trying to translate things from a musical into a film, but your suspension of disbelief is very different when you're watching a stage play versus a movie scene. And there was a scene that just felt so gross, where it was Ariana Grande or Glinda and Fiyero were literally at the altar. And you know, this love triangle has been going on for a while, where Fiyero really, you know, actually has feelings for Elphaba. But he's standing on the altar with Glinda, and then some stuff happens, and then he decides he's going to run after Elphaba. And like 15 minutes later, they're doing it. And I'm like, and it's like, ooh, guys, like, Glinda is literally still standing on the altar, like grieving this switcheroo, and y'all are just like, I'm horny enough to get busy, even though we're totally screwing our best friend right now. And like, you know, that doesn't happen that fast in the book. Like, it's a little more drawn out, where it's like, you know, I want to get with you, but it was just distasteful. But they had to get to the next song. And you know, also things that I hate about musicals is when people are like 2 inches from each other's face, just like scream singing into each other's mouths. And I'm like, if just trying to think of that in any scenario.
There's no chewing gum or breath mints in
And there's like,
Oz.
like yell, screaming, singing this close to each other. It just looks silly. It looks ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, Michelle Yeoh's in it. She's always good. Jeff Goldblum's he's a really good wizard. They tried to make the whole reveal of him realizing that Elphaba is his daughter something big, even though we all knew by the end of the first one.
It's at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's like, duh. How did you not figure this out?
No, they tried to make it a reveal for the audience, not for him.
Well, it was a reveal for him, but they set it up like a reveal for the audience.
Even though that's how the
everyone
first
knows.
movie opens.
Like, everyone knows. But that's what felt weird about it. It's like, we all know. Why are you spending this? Why are we going back to a flashback scene? Because we don't need to know that he's having this actualization. And yeah, there was just some parts I didn't really enjoy. A lot of pacing parts, but overall, I mean, it was the sequel that we were supposed to have. Like, it wasn't a bad sequel to the movie that they set it up to be. And that's where the review kind of gets weird here is, I'm not going to say anything mad. Everyone's like, it's not as good as the first one. Well, no shit. Like, did you expect it to be? Because all of the best parts are in the first part of the Broadway musical. And when you split a musical needs to be like a Broadway play is told in one sitting with a 15-minute intermission, right? And this, they're like, no, we got to stretch it out to even more, and that's why they padded some of the first one with some book stuff, but then didn't include that book stuff in the second one, and that's where it feels a little, because it just didn't have enough. And either do we want a movie adaptation of the Wicked books, or do we want an adaptation of just the musical? And I think that tripped on its own feet by trying to be both, but not realizing that it ran out of gas because it ran out of musical. So that's the thing. If you enjoyed the first one, this wraps it all up. Everybody's like, they didn't do a good enough job explaining Dorothy, and I'm like, the movie's not about Dorothy, idiots. Like, we already know that story. Like, that's why the book is cool, is because Dorothy's not even really in it, because we already gruelingly have sat through that movie every year for everyone's life for the past 100 years, and now it's at the whatever dome in Vegas being CGI'd to death. I don't like The Wizard of Oz anymore. I don't like that movie.
I don't know, dude. If being in the sphere and having and like monkeys
balloon
and
monkeys
tornadoes
flying around,
that would be
that
cool.
scene might be cool.
That would be cool. The tornado scene is probably cool in the sphere, where you have the witch or like the teacher on her bicycle and becoming the witch. Like if the tornado's all the way around you, actually that would be pretty sick.
But
that would be dope.
Let's see. Vince on Twitch said, so many things try to be everything for everyone, and it kills the originality. And I think that's what this has happened to this movie, is trying to be everything for everyone took away its power. And just the musical exists for a reason, and it was so popular for a reason, because it was a really great adaptation of one part of a really big series of books. And it never tried to sequelize. It's like, this is what we did. That's all. The story is wrapped up right there. And now we're like, oh my God, we can make how much money off this? How do we draw it out? How do we make it more? And yeah, can't do it. But you can see it. Everyone is. Literally everyone is seeing this movie. I can't believe I went and saw it, but
Not me. I fell asleep in the first one. It's one of 2 movies I've ever fallen asleep to.
I remember you saying you fell asleep in the first one.
Yeah.
But speaking of falling asleep in the first one and movie totals, let's do the box office, because it is that time. It's the last segment of the show. We give you the roundup of the last weekend at the box office. So this is going to be through November 21st through 23rd as we lead up into the Thanksgiving box office, which is going to be a weird one next week. So Vince on Twitch wants to know what the other movie you fell asleep in was.
Superman Returns.
Damn. Okay. A Superman movie. But we're going to give you the top 10 in...
It was the Superman movie where he gets stabbed with kryptonite and is still able to lift an island of kryptonite out of the ocean and hurl it into space.
Okay, yeah, that sounds stupid.
Yeah,
So stupid.
Brandon Routh one. It was, and with Kevin Spacey
Oh, the Kevin Spacey one,
as
yeah.
Lex Luthor.
I think
yeah,
I fell asleep in that one too.
and that's where Superman has his little kid that has asthma, and they're like, "Look at this dumb little kid with asthma. He's so stupid. Well, his little asthma, dumb idiot kid." And then at the end of the movie, Lois is like, "You remember that time that we like did the sex?
Had baby.
Well, the baby." And Superman's like, "Oh, you let me leave the planet, even though?" And she's like, "Yeah, dude." And then he's like, "Cool, check this out, Kryptonite Island. Forget
It
it."
sounded like you didn't fall asleep for very long.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, but yeah, I fell asleep in the theater.
All right. Well, Jake's going to give you the top 10 movies in America. We'll throw in a couple of domestic numbers for the big ones, but number 10.
At number 10, Sarah's Oil, still hanging in there. It's only been 3 weeks. Wow, I didn't realize.
It's out there.
That's an Amazon movie, so it'll be on Prime near you. It made $800,000, bringing it up to $10.4 million. And then at number 9, Black Phone 2, 6 weeks out, has brought in another $1 million, bringing it up to $76.5 million for that one. Looks like another almost $54 million elsewhere, so it's $130 million for a horror movie. Pretty good.
Doing good.
Especially since they were just like, what if
We did
Nightmare on
this
Elm
again?
Street?
Yeah. Which changed the plot. Do it again.
Yep. And then at number 8, Nuremberg. Its third week out there, 1.2 million, just shy of 11 million here so far. And then at number 7, Regretting You, which will soon be on streaming, or I think it is on streaming.
I think it already is, yeah.
1.6 million for that one in its fifth week, bringing it up to 47.3. And then opening at number 6, the movie I talked to you about, Sisu on Wheels, Road to Revenge, 2.4 million for that one, bringing it up with its international totals to 5.7 million so far. I did forget to tell you the most ridiculous part of that movie. He tries to catch up with a train on a train car by launching a ICBM missile.
Like pointing it the other way and going...
Like using it to launch into the other train. and he gets himself ready, and at like 300 some odd miles an hour, just lets go.
And he
when
jumps to the other
and
train.
he leaps through the back door of one train car and then like tackles this dude.
He is Wile E. Coyote.
And then they just start punching each other like nothing happened.
That sounds amazing.
Like his bones don't turn to dust immediately by being launched at Mach
or
2.
having all those G's like go.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like standing right next to the missile, and he's like, "Yo," it's
That is Sisu.
absolutely ridiculous. And then at number 5, the movie that I probably should have watched instead, but I'd watched the first Sisu.
I thought you were gonna go see this movie.
I probably still want to, since nothing else is coming out this next weekend. Rental Family, since we were talking about Brendan Fraser, $3.3 million in its opening week at number 5. Nothing internationally yet. That movie looks pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
I'll probably want to see it. And then at number 4, A Running Man, $5.7 million in its second week, bringing it up to just under 27 million. Another 21 elsewhere in the world, so 48 million bucks is all it's brought in so far. And then holding the number 3 spot somehow, Predator: Badlands, brought to you by Disney, $6.5 million bucks for that one, bringing it to 76.6 million. Another 83.6.
Yeah, making some money.
Probably from China. So 160.2 million bucks so far. And then number 2, losing its top spot, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, a movie you told us about last week.
Yep.
Almost $9 million this past week, bringing its 2-week total up to 36.660.
But get this.
Another 109 million bucks elsewhere in the world.
Okay. Apparently the world likes magic.
Yeah, so $146 million. Or maybe like Justice Smith's voiceover in other languages doesn't have him like
sounding like a whiny
screeching and
duck.
stuff like that. Yeah. And then at number 1, Wicked for Good.
So, okay, I did some research about these numbers because I saw this number and I was like, you got to be kidding me. But this is all include. They are saying that the opening weekend was this number when, in fact, the opening weekend was a week before with preview screenings and all this stuff. So they're trying to make it sound like it had a single opening weekend, even though it's been a whole week.
Okay. So it's not 2-day number, but 1 full week brought in $147
That's still
million.
impressive.
Yeah, another 76 elsewhere. So it's already grossed almost $250 million.
Yep. And I mean, like, what was the first Wicked?
Well, it's in almost every single theater in the U.S.
Like, period, yeah.
Where the last several weeks, there has not been
It's all
any
just
other
Wicked,
movie.
Wicked, Wicked, Wicked. And, you know, the first one, the first opening, and I think that's what they were trying to figure out how to combat was 112 million. So they're like, we got to get that bigger. So we're going to include way more days. And that's sneaky, number 1. But the first one, I mean, it clocked in at 758 million worldwide. So it's interesting. Vince on Twitch asks, he says, do you think that with the state of movies, we've kind of moved past the $1 billion club in theaters? I don't know. I think it's harder to reach, but I think it's still the goal for all of the production studios.
Or easier to reach?
No. I think it's getting harder to reach because people don't want to.
I was about to say, I think that it's still
the expected for a blockbuster.
It's still a thing, even though they figured out a formula to help them get more movies there.
Yeah.
Because they've really created, like more of that like blockbuster
Buzz
factory
and,
mentality of things. But because of that, I think, as we progress, less movies will be able to achieve it because people will be burned out by
the formula,
this crap,
and streaming.
I think
and
Marvel,
the economy, and Marvel
and Disney went a long way to giving that burnout, and I think that's going to last for a while.
Interesting to see if how Avatar sets up with that. You've got what is the all time.
I'm sure that with the previous successes of the 2 Avatars, that it will get a lot of dollars. It'll get up there. But what's crazy, and this is something I actually watched like a video essay on, is how Avatar is like at one point in time the biggest movie to have ever been ever. but it's not anything that anyone really talks about, and no one talks about the sequel at all. It's not like
and it still made $2 billion.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's wild that it's such a massive thing, but not really culturally relevant.
Yeah, it's just a thing that we all feel like we have to go see.
Yeah, but everyone's like, that's really pretty though.
Yeah, them blue guys. Anyway,
I've still never watched either one.
Wait, you haven't watched the original Avatar?
Nah.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Man, I saw Dances with Wolves like a million times. I saw Fern Gully
Pocahontas.
infinite times.
All
Yeah.
those things, yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget you can like and subscribe wherever it is you like to follow us. You can download this podcast on wherever it is you like to get podcasts. Most people do Spotify. Just search for the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. But if you want to get in the action, you can get on there on Facebook Live, Twitch, or YouTube. We love Twitch. It's a really great format for us, and it's easier for us to get paid. But you can also hit us on the Discord. You can find all of those links on our link tree at driveinspeakerbox.com. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys as well. Hope you guys go do something fun. Maybe go watch a movie or just sit around on your ass and eat turkey and whatever. So do the thing. Yeah? All right. Good night.
See ya.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.